Hello everyone, my name is Harish and today we are going to make a REST API with Firebase, and we will see from start to end how to make a REST API using Firebase functions. So I will be doing it everything from start to end, like setup of project and creating project in Firebase, developing it using VS Code. So let's get started. And before we go into creating projects and something, so there are a few things which you should have set up on your machine. So let me just zoom it a bit. So first of all, you should have a terminal setup. If you are on Windows, Linux, or a Mac, you're already covered, so it's almost terminal should be there. Then do node install. I wrote 10.10, but you can have any latest node installed, latest version, and then install nvm. And you can get the instructions from here how to install nvm. Basically nvm is for version management of node. If you install it, you can anytime switch from one version of node to another version. You will be able to switch between different versions based on your project requirements, because sometimes if you're working on a project which is on older version, then you may have to go back, or if something you're developing newly, then you have to if you have to work on latest version. So it will become very easy to install new versions or the switch between versions. So I highly recommend to have this nvm installed. Then of course a Google account, because we will be using Firebase, and Firebase is Google's product, so you need a Google account to log in into Firebase console. And then Postman, because it's a API, it's a REST API, so we will be making few calls from Postman to our newly developed API. And for that Postman is recommended. It doesn't mean you cannot use any other tool which can make a REST call or call your API. So but Postman is the tool which I will be using. Then you also need Firebase CLI installed on your terminal. So for that, fire this command on your terminal, npm install -g Firebase tools. So because we will be using Firebase to connect to our Firebase project from our local machine, and to set up our functions directory and all those things. So do all these steps and you will be good to go. I'm not doing all this because I have already done this. Even if I do, it's gonna say that you already have it installed and all those things. So once you are done with this, the next step is to create a Firebase project. But before that, I just want to talk about what is API and why we use APIs. So very briefly, so basically API stands for Application Programming Interface, and what it does, it refers to any method where a computer system can use to communicate with one another. If you Google it, and you will find a definition which says a set of functions and procedures allowing the creation of application that access the feature or data of an operating system, application, or other service. So basically there are a few methods which you use. There is get, post, put, and delete, which you can use to create different data or information on some other system, or to access that information. Like get is to get that information, and post is when you want to create something, and put is kind of update. If you want to update a data, then you call put a method, and delete, as the name suggests, it's for deleting. So these are the basic methods of HTTP protocol which you will be using in REST API. So once this is out of the way, let's go ahead and do the actual work. So first of all, let's go to Firebase console, log in with your Google account, and you will be ending up or coming to this page. So right now I have no projects to do this, so let's create a project. Click on create project, and let's say give it a name as API with Firebase. You can give any name. Basically your name should be unique over all the Google Cloud projects. So it has to be unique, and if it's so at the bottom here you can see it's suggesting a ID for your project. So this is project name, and this is a project identifier for your project, and you will be using it a lot. If you want, you can change it, but it has to be unique. So if I change it to API with Firebase, let's call it demo. So here you go. So it became unique, so it automatically says that okay, you can have this, but if not, then you can edit it also. So now let's accept the terms. So this is basically analytics for your project. If you want to have analytics by default on your project, you can use this. Otherwise you can switch it off also. But I'll keep it on. So I'm selecting this, and analytics location, let it be United States. You can select anywhere near your location also. So I am in Japan, so let me do Japan. So I accept Google Analytics term and create project. So here it's gonna take some time to create project, and I'll skip over it, and once it's done I'll be back. So now our project is ready. Let's continue and see what's there in our project and what can we do with Firebase. So Firebase comes with a lot of functionalities and a lot of services. It has hosting, where you can host your application or code which your users can access. Let's suppose you have a Angular application or a React application or any website. You can use Firebase to host it, and then there is real-time database which you can use. So like here you have real-time database. Then you have Cloud Firestore, which is a NoSQL database which Google Cloud provides. Then you can have functions deployed on Firebase, which is similar to AWS Lambdas. So today we will be using this functions services to deploy our REST API. Then you can have file storage, where you can give your users access to store files, just like if you are developing a service similar to Box or Google Drive or something, you can use to create this storage as your service. Or in your application, if you need to store some images or some files, you can use this storage there. And there are many more services which it provides, like machine learning, and then there is analytics. You can see analytics based on your application, and then if you want to do some A/B testing or some messaging, or so it has a lot of services. So what we are going to do now is to create we need for our application. So today we are going to develop a books API, and for that we have to create we will create the whole CRUD API, like create, read, update and delete. And for that, the basic need which we have is to have a database. So let's first create a database. So I'm going to use Cloud Firestore. So I will click on Cloud Firestore, and then we are going to set up our database. So at here, click on create database. So now there are two modes. One is to start in production mode or to start in test mode. So production mode is when you want to give access to only people who are logged in into your application, and if you want to restrict some collections from some access, so those kind of things you want to do in production mode. But initially because we are developing this as a demo, so I'm going to start in test mode, so there will be no restrictions. If you noticed, there is this allow, read, write, there is a timestamp. What it does is basically I will have free access, or anybody who has details about database can access it till April of 10th. But if I go in production mode, it by default it rejects any access, and I will have to explicitly tell whether who can access that database. So let's start in test mode. Click on next, and now you have to set up a Firestore location where your Cloud Firestore will be created. So keep one thing in mind: once you set this up, you cannot change it. So if you are creating a application or something which you are providing to your users in some particular location, so make sure you choose that location. So if let's suppose you are creating some application for US users, so you don't want to create your database far away, like in Asia Northeast, or maybe in Tokyo or Australia or somewhere. So you keep your location as close to yourself. So I'm going to select Asia Northeast, but please feel free to choose based on your preferred location, like wherever you are, and keep in mind that once selected, you will not be able to change it. So I will select Asia Northeast 2, and then I will click on enable. So it's going to provision my Cloud Firestore, and it takes some time because it is behind the scenes. It is setting up Cloud Firestore in your Google Cloud project, because Firebase is now completely integrated with the Google Cloud platform, and it is when you create a project, it actually creates a project in your Google Cloud console or Google Cloud cloud, and then it is setting up those database. So now you have a database ready. So this Cloud Firestore database is ready, and now we have to get started by connecting to this Firestore, and we need to have access to this Firestore from our development environment, and then we will do that. So for that, for developing purposes, I am going to use VS Code, but you can use any IDE which you like, and feel free to follow along if you want. So let's get started, and I will create a directory here. So mkdir, what did I name it? API with Firebase demo. I'm going to name it like this. You can name it anything, it doesn't matter. So, and now let's go to API with Firebase demo. So now I am in that repository. Now I have Firebase already installed, that is Firebase CLI. As I told you in the starting, that you need that Firebase CLI to be installed. If you have not done it till now, please do it before doing this next step. So the next step which I have to do, I need to log in to my Firebase account. So I will do Firebase login, and once I click on that, it's going to ask me whether I want to participate in usage and report. I'll say yes, and now I will select on my account, and then if I see here, I'm logged in here. Now my login is done. So what it did was it automatically connected my Firebase CLI is now connected to my account, and whatever I do will be executed with my Firebase account. And anytime you want to change your account, just do Firebase logout and then log in again to any other account if you want to do. So that's very simple and very easy. So now what we are going to do is going to initiate a Firebase project. So we will do Firebase init. What it does, it's going to initialize a Firebase project in your the directory which you have selected, which is this. Before that, let me add that folder into workspace so that it's easier to see. Okay, here, and okay, so this is my project. Why I'm adding it? So that you can see on the left hand side, like whenever I am doing something here or initializing, you will be able to see what exactly what kind of files and folders are created, and then we will go over it. So let's do Firebase init, and then it's going to initialize. So this time we want to do Firestore code. We want to write something for Firestore. So I'm going to we have to create functions. So I'm going to use your arrow keys on your computer, and then press space to select it. You select by pressing space. Now function is selected, and press enter. Now it's asking you want to create an existing project or you want to create a new project. So the step which I did from UI could have been done from here as well, but I just wanted to show that from UI, so that's why I did it from here. But if you want, you can create a new project from here as well. So I'm going to select use an existing project, press enter. So it's going to show me all the projects in my account. So right now I have only one project, which is API with Firebase demo. If not, there will be a bunch of options and you can select from there. So now let's select Firebase API demo, and now it's going to check Node.js versions and all, and now it's asking you what kind of project you want to do. So when you create Cloud Function, you have two options. Either you can go with JavaScript based project or a TypeScript. So TypeScript is also JavaScript based, but it is what Google uses to create its own like Angular. If you write code in Angular JS, you basically do it in TypeScript. Then the compilers will change it into JavaScript, and then you can use that. So if you want to do with TypeScript, go with TypeScript, but I'm going to use JavaScript. And I'll tell you why I am selecting JavaScript in just a while. Now, do you want to have a ESLint to catch probable bugs? Let's say yes, because it's always better to have a ESLint so that your code looks good, and it's like even before you deploy it, you can test it whether there is some bug or some issue, or so that you have a cleaner code. And now it's going to do installation of all the npm install. So that's why you needed Node.js and npm installed. And now on the left hand side, you can see it's created a new folder which is called functions, and installed some of the files. So we will go through it and see what all these files are. So first of all, it created let's start from here. So basically this firebase.json file is created, and this file is used by Firebase CLI to run some like definitions or information about it's a metadata about your project. And when you do deployment, and if you fire a command called firebase deploy, so it's gonna use this metadata to run some like before deploying, it's running this lint command on your project. And then of course it created a git ignore, which if you want to commit to repository, it's going to put some of like ignoring please ignore these files when you are committing. Then there is this project Firebase RC. What it is if currently I'm using Firebase project which is API with the base demo, but I can deploy the same project into different Firebase project. same code into different Firebase project. And for that I can very simply do Firebase use hyphen add. So if I do this command, I can add another project, and for that project I need to create a tag. So right now it's default. I can very easily have something called maybe production project, the production project, or test project, or development project. So you will have multiple entries here, and with that you can switch whenever you are doing. Let's suppose I want to deploy it now. I do Firebase deploy. So if I do Firebase deploy, by default it's going to take the default tag, and then it's going to deploy to this project. But if I do Firebase -p, and then if I give the tag name, let's suppose production, then it will deploy to that production project, whose entry will be made here if you do Firebase use -f add. But that's for later. Let's move on. What this Firebase init did, it created a package.json and set up like Firebase admin, Firebase functions, and all the dependencies and various default commands which you can use. We will use some of them. Then it also created a index.js, which is where your code lives. So currently it created functions require, and it's giving error because I have not actually used. So this is where your ESLint is running. Your linter is running and it's giving you error that you have created it, but you are not using it. We'll come back to this index.js because we will be writing bunch of code in this place. And then there are like npm install ran, and it installed bunch of node modules. Now let's do next step and cd into functions folder. Now let me show you what exactly in index file is. So as I said, there is a functions constant created by your npm Firebase init, and then it also gave you some code. So let me uncomment it and show you what exactly it is. So here there is a function or an export created named with hello world. If I just simply run this and deploy it on our project, on my project, it will create a function called hello world, and then it will be an HTTPS based request, and this is what kind of API which will be created as a function. So there are various ways you can create a function. One of them is like you can trigger a function. Basically one is HTTPS, where you can call it as an API. Then there is some document based API functions, like if you have a database and whenever some create, read, or update is happening on that table or collection, you can trigger a function. So there are many ways to trigger a function in Google Cloud's Firebase. So by default it's giving you one sample here, but today I need more control over the routing of my API. And if I do like the way example is given, I will have to keep creating different functions like hello world, or maybe if I want to create a books API or update book or delete book, then I will have to keep adding function after function after function. So which is not very good or not a good way to do it. So what I will be using, Express, and so Express is basically JavaScript Node.js based library, which gives you a lot of functionalities where you can Express app. You can create an app where you can control the what kind of routing you want to do, how you want to control routing. So I will be using Express, but if you want you can use this default thing also. So I'm going to comment it again, and what I am going to do is install Express and Coles. So Coles is for its cross browser calling, if you want to use that. So I'm going to do that as well. So I'm going to do install npm install Express, and make sure you are inside your functions folder, otherwise npm will start installing outside, and you will have another node module in your base folder. So I'm inside npm, I'm inside functions folder and npm install express. So let's wait for this to install, and then I will do npm install quotes. I will put this also in the doc so that when I am posting the document, and you will be able to install. Okay, so this command will be there in the below comments folder or in the details. You can check those. So now what we have to do, we have to set up our project or indexed file so that we are using this. So let's do some cleanup first. I'm just going to delete this, and I'm going to copy paste some code so that it's easier to because I don't want to waste some time in just writing it. So let me paste it, and I will explain what exactly I'm doing. So here I have pasted some command, like first I'm importing admin, which is Firebase admin. And why we need this? Because we want to get access to our database, that Firestore, and we will be using this constant to get access to our database from our APIs, because we need to create, update and delete. And then there is another constant called express. This is just to get access to express, and with this we will be creating an express app. And then we have course, and then we created a constant app which is express, and then we set up that course origin equal to true, and this is where we create an API. So right now I'm directly creating app.get, get, post or delete kind of API using this function, but you can absolutely use express routing. So just to keep it simple, I'm not going to set up that routing in this demo or in this tutorial. So we will do it, you can do it later on, and you can learn more about it from express routing. Let me show you. So you can go to express routing, and you can see how to do routing and how to set it up. You can have different routing setup and route paths, and you can control all those things, right? Okay, so now you can see there are a bunch of errors coming up. That is my ESLint. So now you want to clean up those errors very quickly rather than doing it manually. I'll give you a command which is ESLint, and then give the file name index.js and use --fix. Oh, sorry, ESLint js -fix. So here it fixed all the things which it can fix, like spaces and curly braces and all those things was fixed, but of course it cannot fix that unused constant which I have created for accessing. So that is, we will fix it once we actually use that constant. As next step, let's uncomment this, and let's actually try to run it. I'll show you how to run it on local, and even without accessing database we should be able to do it. So now what we are going to do, if you here in the package.json there is a command called Firebase emulator start only on -only functions. So basically what it does is, if you don't want to deploy your code to Firebase and you just want to test it on your local, you can absolutely do that. For doing that, you just have to do npm run serve, and it's going to start the emulator. Now emulator is getting started up, and here it's giving you that your emulator is running, and you can call this API like this. So let me start my Postman and go to here, and what's my API name? Let me go here. It's called hello world. So slash hello world. So let's make a call and see if we get any response. Yippee! So here you see, now we have very simply created a hello world API using Express app on Firebase function, and we are testing it on emulator, and it's up and running. Now let's move to next step of connecting this API to our database, because we actually want to connect to database and start creating some CRUD API and see how we can access it. To do that, I'm going to go back to Firebase, because we need credentials to access that database. So for that, go to click on this gear icon at the top left hand corner and click on users and permissions. Now here this is, and then go to service accounts, and now we are going to create a service account. So here it gives you, if you are using Node.js, how to initialize your service account or how to access it. So I'm just gonna copy this because we need it for our code. So let's uncomment this admin, and let's, oops, sorry. Oh, I can't seem to copy it. Okay, so this where admin we don't need, I'm going to delete it, and I'm going to create it as a const because it's a service account. Now service account key, oh, before that let me stop this emulator from running, otherwise it keeps giving error. And okay, so I will run a ESLint cleanup. I really like this command because it just cleans up things and I don't have to worry about it. Now we need this service account key.json, otherwise we will not be able to connect to our database. So from here, from the console, Firebase console, click on this generate new private key and make sure you keep it secret and don't give it or don't show it to anybody. So now I have this JSON created. I'm just going to drag and drop into my project in my functions folder. So I'm going to rename this file. Okay, so I have this what all information is available in this file. It's a service account or the account type, and then project ID, which project it's connected to, key ID, private key ID, then the private key, and then email, client ID, and like all the information which we require to connect to database. So now Firebase is going to our admin or function is going to use this service account to connect to database. So now we have database connected or access to database. Let's create API, and we are going to create a books. Let's first create book. So I am going to comment this hello world out. We don't need this. So now let's create a book API or the create API. So I'm going to paste the code and then explain what exactly I'm doing. So let's run this ESLint fix so that it just is up. Oh, okay. So once you do this, so you might be getting an error similar to this, it's not able to recognize. So there is a very simple way to fix it. So what you can do, go to ESLint RC and add parser option. Basically, this parser option, what we are telling that use ECMA version 2020 and experimental REST pads and all like ECMA features, enable these features and it will go away that error. So let's do ESLint fix. Okay, so it cleaned it up, but now it's giving that I don't have a DB variable created, which I absolutely need, otherwise I will not be able to call it. So let's create that constant. We have admin initialized, and then we created const db admin.firestore. So now this database connection is done, and we will be able to create books in our database or the collection. So now let's run it again, and I'm going to run npm run serve, and let's see how it works. Oh, okay, I made an error. I need to fix the path or the location. So let's just make it dot, like it's in my base folder. Oops, it's not able to find the path to that. So let's run again. Okay, so now it's deployed and my function is still running. And let's go to Postman, and it's what did we name it? API/create, and then it's a post method. So because we want to create something, and we need to give let's add one header, which is content type, and add application JSON, and then go to body, and let's start giving one. So book, and what do we want in book? We want a title. It should be my first book. Then we need maybe price, so we can give maybe 120.50. it could be dollar or anything, so I'm just giving it as a number. And how many quantities we have remaining, available quantity, quantity, then let's give it as a number here. Okay, and it's like we have 500 remaining, so very simple, like nothing fancy. So why book? Let's understand this code which I have written here. So it's API/create, this is our path, and it is a post method, and then there will be two variables available, request and response. So we are filing a async function which we have created here, and we are awaiting for this DB collections to be finished. What it is doing is we are connecting to this collections called books, and then we are creating a like document like request body.id, and we are creating a document from here. Okay, so I forgot to create one. I forgot to create ID. I need to create ID, and let's give it ID 1 2 3 4 5 and a comma. So what it is going to do is going to get this ID from that request. Let's keep it open here like this, and let me move it a bit so that we can see both. And now what is happening is it's getting this ID. So every collection in a like any document in a collection should have an ID, and it has to be unique. So every time you create, either you can manually give the ID, or you can let data Firebase file store create an ID for you. This time I'm creating it manually. I'm going to have that ID created, and then I'm going to create a book object in that, and then it's like request body dot book. So I'll show you two things what's happening here. If I don't create this, what happens, and what happens if I directly just give the object. So let's call this API and see what happens. Oh, looks like I got an error. Cannot post create. I understand. I made a mistake in API. I forgot to write API. So let's call it again, and this time it has created that document in our collection. So if I go back to my file store, I will be able to see one books and with one ID. And now here is this what I wanted to show you. So it created this collection, it created the document, and it created a field called book, and then inserted all this information. Why you require this? Let's suppose if you want to have more some like user information or some other thing who created and all, so you want to separate it into a different field, or if you just want to have it directly. So for that also you can very simply go and change this. Instead of creating as a object, you can just give it like this, and then it will take the object whatever you are sending, and it will just put the fields there. So let's send it again and see what happens. Oh, okay, so I need to change the ID. Let's start with 1, 2 and 3. It will be easier for me. Let's do 1, let's send it again, and this time it created again. And if we go back, we should be able to see another one. So now there is no book field. It's all, by default all the values which we are giving are inside that object. So I'm just going to delete this previous one, and to delete this collection, sorry, the document, I just click on delete, and let's get rid of 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So now we are able to create a book. But one thing, if you have noticed, the response is not good. We want to have something, some ID or something sent, or the object which is sent. So we should make it much better response. So let's add something here, and we want to return the information which is created after this document is created. We should send a better response, and if it is a success, we should say like status successful created, because it's 200 response and we just want to give something back. So let's create another book. So now you can see there is a proper status returned, like successfully created, and of course there is a status 200. Okay, this is just a text or something which you want to send it back. You can do that in a response here. And if we go back to our collection, there is another collection, document created, which is my second book, or SecCof book, spelling mistake. So this is how you create API. And now we need to create some, let's create a get API. We want to read it back, and whatever we have created, we want to get it out of our database. For that, let's create a read API. So now let's create a get API for our books. So whatever book we have created, we want to read it back from the collection, and I'm going to paste some code, and I'm going to stop this emulator from running because I want to do some linting to fix this. Okay, now what is happening here is I created an API read, and then request parameter called book ID, and then from there I'm going to connect to our collection, which is books, and pass this book id as a id. If you remember, we created ids for each book, and with that id we are going to call that get that book information, and then we get this document.get, and then we wait for response to come back here, and then we get the data and we send the data back. Very easy, very simple, very straightforward. So let's run our server again, and let's call our API. I'm just going to, okay, we can call it here, but let's call it a cleaner one. So my API is running here, and I'm just going to send a request. So here you see I'm able to read the data from my Firebase collection, Firestore collection, and it comes my first book. If I change it to 2, it will give you my second book. What happens if I don't have anything? Nothing. So we don't get anything. So we can fix this, and we can have a better handling of code. If nothing is there, we can say not found or something, but that's for later. But for now, our get API is also working. So now what we want to do, we want to create updates to our API, to our collection, or like create, read, update and delete. So now we are at update, so let's do that. So now let's create update API. I'm just gonna stop this emulator again. Now for this update, again we need book ID, which book we are going to update, and then we have to collect to our books collection, then get this ID and get to connection to that document, and then we have to get this request body book, because it's a put request, and whatever is changed it will be updated there. So let's see how we are going to call this, and I'm gonna run it again. This time I need this collection again, so let's go to another one, and for a while let's copy paste this. We don't need ID here because we are sending ID as a request parameter, and let's add one header content type so that we are able to see it much better. Application JSON. If I go to body, it's a little bit highlighted, and now we need to call put request, and I'm going to do this URL copy. Oops, somehow I'm not able to copy things today. Oh my god. Okay, so it's not read, it's update and first. So now I want to rename my first book as updated first book, and maybe my available quantity, I want to change it to 1000, and I don't want to change the price. I want to keep the price as 120.50. So let's before calling this update, let's see what is the get. So if I do get, so this is my current information for my first book, for the ID 1, which is my first book, 120 and 500. And here input, I'm not giving price, but I'm giving title and available quantity. So it's going to take this update document is going to take the book and update whatever is available and leave anything else which is not given as it is. So let's call this. So it has executed. Now let's see what get me back. So here you can see it has updated the title and it has updated the available quantity, but it has left this price as it is. So nothing happened to the price, and price keeps its value. So this is how you create an update in API. And then now let's create a delete. We need to delete, and if you want to delete something, Let's see how we are going to do that, and which is also very straightforward, and it's not so difficult. So let me copy paste the command and then we will talk about it, and stop it. And now for delete as well, so I'm calling API delete and I get the param as ID, and I need to change this and book ID, and then just call document.delete, and it's going to delete that function or document from your collection. So let's run it again, and we are going to call the delete API, and let's paste it and call delete. So now again, before calling, I'm getting, so the data is there, correct? And now when I call delete, it's going to delete that, and if I go and do read again, I will not be able to get any information, but I can absolutely read number 2. So number 2 is there, but number 1 is gone, correct? So if you want to create again, you can create, okay, number 2 is available, so you will not be able to create 2. I can create 1 again, and it's successfully created. And if I want to get number 1, it will be able to get number 1. So it's back again. So now we have created that like whole CRUD API, create, read, update and delete. Now what we are running it on emulator, so we want to actually deploy it on Firebase functions. That is very easy. Also we are going to use Firebase CLI to do that. So you do Firebase deploy, and it's going to deploy your functions. So let's suppose if you have multiple things running in your project, like you have functions, you have you want to do hosting, or you want to do some other storage functions or rules or the database rules. If you have in the same project and you want to separate them, so you can do -- only functions. But currently we have only one thing, so I'm just going to do Firebase deploy, and you can select what you want to deploy as well. So let's do Firebase deploy. What it is going to do, it's going to take my code and it's going to connect to Firebase project, and it's going to check if some APIs are enabled or not. So now I'm getting this error that I don't have a billing account set up, the plan is not proper. It says I need to set up my billing account so that I can use pay as you go plan. I'm on free plan right now, so I'm not able to deploy it on Firebase like functions. So I'm going to set up that billing. So now as you saw, I'm getting that error that I don't have pay as you go billing. So I'm going to set that up. So I went to console.cloud.google.com, and then I selected my project, and I need to set up billing. Unless you have billing, you will not be able to deploy your function. So go to click on this hamburger menu, click on billing, and right now I don't have a linked billing account. I can link a billing account, or I can create it. Let me see if I even have a billing account. So I don't have a billing account, so let's create it. I'm going to call it tutorial demo billing account. You can have multiple billing accounts and you can use them for various projects or different project based on different billing account. And then let's click on continue. And now I need to give some credit card information, so I will be back after setting it up. So now my billing account is created. I entered my credit card details and I was able to get account created. Now I will go back to my project and attach or link this billing account to my project. So let's select a project, API base demo, and go to billing, link a billing account and select the billing account. So this is my billing account created, and set account. So now I have billing account set up. So let's give it a try again, whether we are able to deploy it. Let's see. Hopefully it will be able to change it, or otherwise I may have to go to Firebase and change the plan. But I guess it's going to automatically move me to pay as you go plan, because I have a billing account set up, so there should not be a problem, and it's a valid billing account with the credit card connected. So here you go. So it's creating this Firebase function. Initially I got this error that I need to change the plan, and you may or may not get it based on if you have already billing set up on your cloud, Google Cloud project. So here it's deploying it to US Central 1, and I will show you how to change this location, or like you want to deploy your function to some other place, because I'm in Japan. I want to deploy it into Japan location rather than US. I will show you how to do that as well. Anyhow, it's deploying it. So let's go to functions and see what's happening here. Right now I should be able to see here. So I am able to see that my function is getting deployed, and it's an app function, and it's deploying in US Central 1. I'm using Node.js 12 and 256 MB and all the information, and it's giving me a URL with which I can connect. And let's copy paste this. It's okay, and then we will be able to start calling it. So let's wait for it to finish deploying it. So once it's deployed, we will be able to go back and call this using Postman. So let's get ready with that. I am going to go to post, and instead of calling it at localhost, I'm going to replace the URL and till app part, and hopefully it's correct. And I'm going to create my third book, and quantity 250, and price is 1000. Oops, it's taking some time to set it up or deploy, because it's my first deployment. There are a bunch of APIs or setup it has to do. So once this is done, so here it goes, it has deployed it successfully, and it's giving this operation is done. So let's call it now and see what happens. So now we are calling our API using Firebase US Central 1, this function, and it's deployed on cloud rather than on your local machine. And if I go and do get command also from the same API, okay, let me copy paste this and replace this. Oops, okay, it's called read one. So it's able to read it also, and can read our new document which we created. And also as I said, I don't want to deploy it on your Central 1. So what I'm going to do, I'm going to go and delete this function from here. Let's delete it and recreate it into some other region rather than the region which it by default created. So what you have to do, So you go at the end of your code, there is export.app. Instead of this, what I'm going to do is replace this function with function.region. So I can explicitly set which region it should deploy. So if I do that, it will be deploying it to Asia Northeast 1, and you can get any these names for Google Cloud regions. If you go Google Cloud regions list, you will be able to get the list of all the regions in Google Cloud, like Asia East 1, A, B, C, like so many are there. So you can choose which region you want to deploy and just put that name, and it will be able to deploy in that region. So let's do that as well. Again, Firebase deploy, very simple. So this time keep an eye and see which region it's deploying. So here it will tell you which region it's going to deploy. Here, so here you can see Asia Northeast 1. Now it changed from US Central 1 to deploying into Asia Northeast 1. So if you want, you can deploy the same function into multiple regions as well, to keep your API closer to your users. So this is how you can change it. So once it is deployed, you will be able to see that deployed API in your Firebase console as well. And also you can see this in Cloud Console as well. So let me show you that as well. So if you go to Google Cloud Console and go to where is there, Cloud Functions, so you will be able to see that there is you can do the same thing here as well. So it's currently deploying, function is getting deployed, so you can do the same operations like deleting and updating anything from here as well. So you can create a quick function directly from here, like just copy pasting the code and setting up from this console as well. But I like doing it from our VS Code because it gives me more options of development. So this is how we create an API using Firebase function. And in the next tutorial, I'm going to show you how to call this API using an Angular application and then show data on a UI. Right now we are doing it from Postman. Rather than Postman, we will be doing it using an app. So thank you for watching, and I'll see you in the next video.